So, what do you do when someone they want to buy Isagenix, but they're like so far in the country that postal service doesn't ship there?
Because what you used to be able to do is get the address of the post office and put that as your address, and then don't put PO on it, but put the box number of their PO box in that, so that when the post office receives it, they know what the box number is, so that they can put it in your box.
So you're saying like put the name on the address, well, the name of the buyer, the Isagenix customer?
Yes.
And then the address is on...
In care of. I think you had to do in care of, where you put their name
in care of,
and then this address. It's the post office's address.
I'm sure it's not the other way around. It's like the address in care of, like that, the name. I thought you do in care of the name. You would probably know better than me. But one of those.
You're sending it to the person. You're sending it to the post office address. And then you have to have the box number.
And the apartment number. The apartment number.
You don't, yeah.
Can I put P.O. box number?
No. No P.O. on there.
So just the number, or can I put box number?
It would be ideal to put box number.
Because there's other apartments that like, why can you do box number instead of P.O. box number?
Because the company doesn't deliver to post office boxes, but they will deliver to a post office. And when it delivers to the post office, then the post office has to see what number and the name. They have to correlate. But if they have their post office box with that post office, then they're going to have the name and the number.
That's really cool. So what about like if they're used to getting boxes from like maybe the P.O. box, or like why doesn't Isagenix ship to P.O. boxes? Like what causes that?
Isagenix, they contract with the carriers. You can't contract with the post office.
Because the carriers are competing with the post offices?
Yeah, I think that is part of the reason, probably.
So like UPS? Like UPS, so like they'll contract with UPS.
Right.
Or like in California we had OnTrack.
OnTrack.
Which is the competitor of the post office, so they don't contract with the post office, so that's why they can't ship to a
post
P.O.
office box. Yeah. And like FedEx, but also FedEx,
UPS,
FedEx, those are all contract services. And each state has different ones, like you said, in California, but not in Idaho, do you have the OnTrack. But it's depending on the state's route of delivery that they go through, but not through the government's
the post office. That makes sense. You got a question?
Yeah, so it's like, why would it be, like, if they're not contracting with the post office, but they're contracting with FedEx or UPS, that you can ship it to a USPS post office?
I think the difference is their contract is with, like, let's say the contractor or the FedEx, and FedEx gets paid regardless what address they ship it to. But if they're shipping through the post office gets paid, not their contractor.
Gotcha.
So they can drop it off at the post office, and then when the post office gets it at their general mailbox, and when it says their name and P.O. box number, then the post office person is like, oh, that goes here. And so that's probably why. If I had to guess, that makes sense in my mind.
I've only had one person that we did that for, and it worked.
That's cool.
And so I know that used to work for anyone that had an address where they could not deliver to.
That's awesome. Thank you. And another strategy that I realize is too is sometimes they could ask like a friend or a church member they see every week, or they could like a neighbor who might get better like service somehow. But by having a friend who's willing to receive a package once a month, then also that could be an option. But what you're saying sounds awesome.
Yeah, a lot of times that's usually how we go. Who's a friend that they deliver to that you can go by and pick it up from?
So you would do that instead of, or like before you would do the post office box route?
I would.
Post office address.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Because most everybody has a friend that does get a delivery to their place. And somebody that they're willing, that doesn't mind getting an extra box once a month from. There's usually not a problem with that. Only one case where we found that they didn't have anybody else that could pick up their delivery or accept their delivery, and it went to their post office box without saying post office.
That makes perfect sense. Thank you. I really appreciate it. So this video is how you can handle when they don't have a any other address other than a post office box, and how you can still line them up and sign them up and impact those ISA clients' lives.